Edward. Privateering.
It's crazy to think how well the original holds up, but booting up this proper refresh is exactly the kind of nostalgia trip I needed. It looks incredible. But here's the thing, playing Edward Kenway again really got me thinking. It reminded me just how rare a genuinely good pirate game actually is. So if playing the remake has you suddenly obsessed with naval combat, pirate fantasy, and general high seas chaos, I started digging into what else is out there. I've rounded up some other titles you should definitely check out after you finished playing Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced. I can't talk about pirate games without mentioning Sea of Thieves. It's basically mandatory at this point. I know it's completely different from Black Flag in terms of narrative, mostly because it doesn't really have one in the traditional sense, but the actual feeling of being on a ship, completely unmatched. When you're frantically managing the sails with your crew, a storm is rolling in, and another player's galleon suddenly crests the wave right next to you, it's pure panic in the best way possible. You really feel the weight of the ocean in this game.
Whatever they've told you, it's not true.
Now, if you want the absolute closest thing to the exact gameplay of Black Flag, you have to play Assassin's Creed Rogue. A lot of people skipped this back in the day because it came out right around the same time as Unity, but basically it's a Black Flag twin. You play as a Templar hunting assassins and you get your own ship, the Morrigan. The mechanics are almost identical, but it's set in the freezing waters of the North Atlantic. Instead of tropical islands, you're navigating around icebergs and dealing with frozen rivers. It's a fantastic game that gets criminally overlooked.
For attacking at long range, we can use the mortar. Next.
Then there's the obvious elephant in the room, Skull and Bones. We all know it had a notoriously rough development, and the response to the game's quality has been varied. But I have to bring it up because if you literally just want the naval combat loop of Black Flag stripped out and turned into its own standalone thing, this is exactly what that is. It doesn't have the on-foot assassin parkour stuff, which I know is a massive deal breaker for a lot of people, but if you just want to shoot cannons and watch splintering wood fly everywhere, the ship-to-ship battles are legitimately heavy and satisfying.
More determined than ever to carve a life of your choice.
Next on the list is Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire. I know it's an isometric RPG, not a third-person action game, but the entire setting of this game is this massive, beautiful, dangerous archipelago. You get your own ship, you upgrade its hull and cannons, you hire a crew with their own personalities, and you sail around getting into random encounters and hunting down pirate lords. If what you loved most about Black Flag was the atmosphere and the sense of exploration, just pointing your ship at the horizon to see what weird stuff is out there, Deadfire absolutely nails that exact vibe. It just delivers it in a totally different genre. Speaking of exploration, if you want something a bit darker and slightly weird, you need to play Dredge. It's not a pirate game in the traditional swashbuckling sense. You're a fisherman on a little trawler, but the core loop of sailing around a mysterious archipelago, upgrading your boat, and exploring hidden islands feels so incredibly satisfying. It has this eerie, cosmic horror undertone that keeps you on edge the second the sun goes down. If you loved the lonely, atmospheric parts of sailing the open sea in Black Flag, Dredge captures a very specific, addictive version of that. If you actually want to play an open-world, third-person RPG where you start as a nobody and work your way up to becoming a pirate captain, look into Risen 2 Dark Waters. Now, full disclosure, it's a bit janky. The combat can feel stiff, and it doesn't have the polished naval warfare of Black Flag. But in terms of pure pirate atmosphere, voodoo magic, firearms, tropical islands, rum, and shady port towns, it goes all in. If you can stomach a little bit of Eurojank, it's a highly immersive pirate adventure.
Saving the world means saving all of it.
If you just want a light, fun, action-packed naval game without a massive 80-hour story attached to it, check out Tempest Pirate Action RPG. This one is purely focused on the ship. You customize your vessel, build up a crew, and sail across 3 massive open worlds. It actually leans a bit into fantasy too, so you aren't just fighting other factions, you're also dealing with mythical sea monsters and using magical artifacts during battles. It's a bit more arcade arcadey than Black Flag, but it's great for just scratching that sailing itch. If you prefer a bit more strategy and management over direct action, there's Tortuga, A Pirate's Tale. This one turns the pirate fantasy into a turn-based tactical game. You have to manage your fleet, keep your crew happy so they don't mutiny, and carefully plan your attacks on treasure convoys. It's a much slower burn than Black Flag, but it satisfies that desire to feel like a calculating, strategic pirate governor running a mini empire on the waves.
Upgrade your ship with a more comfortable cabin.
So that's the list of games similar to Assassin's Creed Black Flag that you should try. Even though it's hard to capture that exact magic Edward Kenway brought to the table, but these definitely help ease the waiting game. What about you guys? Is there some hidden gem pirate game I completely missed? Let me know down in the comments.